Hello Sagittarius, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business and over 30,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure to welcome you Sagittarius to this reading of your horoscope for the year 2014 from a spiritual perspective. Now if your sun sign is Sagittarius and you know your time of birth accurately within a half an hour, then it's important to know what your ascendant is. So submit your birth details to my website and I'll be happy to do your horoscope chart for you free of charge and send it to you with no obligation, and you'll then know what your ascendant is because you can then watch the video that's applicable to your ascendant or rising sign, which will be much more applicable for you Sagittarius, because this is a spiritual reading. Now what I'll be focusing on in this reading for you is to look at your horoscope from the point of view of the movements of planets in 2014, so that I can help you to understand what's going on in your life spiritually, but also from the mundane events and conditions in your life as well, with a view to helping you to understand more about yourself. To know yourself is a very powerful force and a very powerful need. And so the science of astrology can help you to understand more about yourself. And I'll be looking at the location of the signs on each of the 12 houses of your horoscope. You've got your rising sign, which is the sign on the eastern horizon at the time of your first breath. And that sign is individual to you and you alone, and to others who have the same rising sign as you. If we don't know your rising sign, then we use the sun as the cusp of the first house, and it's equally as accurate. But it's preferable if you can have your ascendant and be working on looking at the video that is applicable for your rising sign or your ascendant. Now what I'm going to be doing for you is telling you the various impacts of the signs on the cusps of your houses. Astrology is the most scientific presentation of hidden truth in the world today, because it deals with you and your life and the events and conditions in your life. Now it's important to understand that you are creating all of the events of your life. There's no such thing as karma that's imposed upon you, and therefore you must break a leg because you forced someone in a last life to break their leg or something like that. Or all of these things that are imposed upon you because you've been a bad person in your past life. You are experiencing all of these events and conditions because of your raw materials. These are your attitudes and your beliefs, your thoughts and your feelings, and the decisions and choices that those attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings engender from within yourself. Now, each of us are living our lives through the events and conditions of our life and experiencing our consciousness through those events and conditions in our life. And these events and conditions in our life all belong somewhere in one of the 12 segments of your horoscope called houses. So as having your rising sign on the cusp of your first house, there'll be the next sign following on from that is going to be in the cusp of the second house, and then the next sign will be on the cusp of the third house, and so forth all the way through the 12 segments of your horoscope called houses. And each of the events of your life fit into one of these 12 houses. But more importantly than that, you are experimenting and experiencing and expressing your consciousness through these houses, and in that process you are gaining experience and you are gaining knowledge, and you are turning that knowledge into wisdom. Now the most important thing about my reading that I'm going to be doing for you here is that I'm going to be telling you what are the needs that you are fulfilling through these houses of your horoscope, because each of the 12 houses you are fulfilling certain needs in life through the events and conditions of that house. The first house, for example, is your need to have impact. You need to commence and start projects and ideas so that you can have impact in the world and feel a sense of power. The second house is the house to do with your sense of security and fulfilling your security needs, not just your financial security, but also your physical health security and your emotional security, your mental security, and your spiritual security in life. So through that house you're fulfilling your security needs. Through the third house you are fulfilling your needs to communicate. And that is the house where you are dealing with those who are close to you, like relatives and neighbours. The fourth house is where you are fulfilling your belonging needs, to belong to a home environment and a family unit, and to those who cohabitate with you in the home, sharing that family sense of belonging there. So you are fulfilling your belonging needs. The fifth house is where you are fulfilling your need to love. We all need to love, and we all need to have fun. And so entertainments and amusements fit into there. Romance and love fits into there. And sexual activities, sporting activities, restaurants and places of amusement, and children. The greatest capacity for us to express our love is through our offspring. The sixth house is the house where we are fulfilling our service needs. We all need to be having meaningful work. So work belongs in that arena of the sixth house. Meaningful work is very important for you regarding health. So we need to be able to be of useful service in the community through meaningful employment, and that fits into that category of maintaining good health through right diet and exercise. The seventh house is the house fulfilling our needs to have a mate, to have somebody in our life who is an intimate, someone that we can get to know, and to be known in return. To be known is very, very important, and to know someone is a very important need that needs to be fulfilled in life. The eighth house fulfills our need for change. We're all the time reflecting and thinking upon aspects of our nature that we know that we should transcend. And so fulfilling that need for change. The ninth house is the house where we fulfill our need for expansion. And we do that through adult education, through study, research and investigation, through philosophy, religious pursuits, and also travel. The 10th house is where we are fulfilling our esteeming needs. We all have a need to be well thought of in the community and to aspire to the heights of success in whatever our chosen field is, and that brings in the career and business. The 11th house is where we are fulfilling our need for friendship and group activities. We all have the need to have friendships and to have group activities in our life. We are ultimately all working towards group consciousness. And so group activities and club activities all fit into that category. The 12th house is where we are fulfilling our needs for solitude. We all need to have that time, quiet time to ourselves, where we can reflect and think upon ourselves and aspire towards being more of who we really are and aspire towards the divine. And many times we do this the wrong way. We do it through crisis and internment in hospitals and institutions. And we force ourselves to have that solitude. We force ourselves to reflect upon moral and principles and values and so forth, and to develop our character and to aspire towards the divine. Make no mistake about it, you are in a spiritual classroom. All of us are in a spiritual classroom. Whether you believe in God and believe in Goddess is immaterial. The fact of the matter is that they have created everything that's in our lives. They have created everything that's in the universe. And without them, you wouldn't be here in life. Science poo-poos higher beings, and science poo-poos a designer in the universe, but the evidence of design in the universe is just so overwhelming that you must let it in that there is that God and Goddess, that ultimate being who's there to help us and to guide us. And so this is the objective and the purpose of my work, is to help you to be a believer in God and Goddess, a believer in the fact that they have set it up in a way that allows you and gives you the power to create your own reality. You are creating all of the events of your life. No one is doing it to you. So if you've got pain in your life, you've got to look at your raw materials. You've got to look at your attitudes and your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings. It's easy to think that no one knows my thoughts and no one knows my feelings, but everything is recorded by yourself, by the higher aspects of yourself, your subconscious mind and your unconscious mind. And so rather than creating all of the events of your life through your subconscious mind and your unconscious mind, you're better off to do it consciously. And so this is what the objective of my intensives are all about, is to help you to understand the laws that we live within in this space-time rule set that we call Earth, this spiritual classroom that we call Earth. And we've all made mistakes. We need to draw upon courage. Courage is the willingness to act, even though you don't have all the answers, and even though some of the answers that you do have are wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. We all do it. And so the idea is to rise above those mistakes from here on, and to start changing those attitudes and beliefs and those thoughts and those feelings that are there in your subconscious mind, thoughts that you don't deserve love, thoughts and feelings and attitudes and beliefs that you're no good, that life is a financial struggle for you, that you'll never amount to anything, that relationships don't work out for you, that you're not lovable, and self-pity and fear and self-sabotage and anxiety and doubt and insecurity. Look, we've all got these things inside of ourselves, and this is what we're in this level of consciousness to do, is to transcend all of those negative aspects of ourselves. And so you sit back and relax now and enjoy the journey here, and I'll take you through a journey for 2014 and tell you what sort of impacts that you're going to be experiencing and which way that you are going to be developing those principles and values within yourself in order to fulfill your needs. Well, it's time now, Sagittarius, to have a look at your horoscope from a more personal point of view. And I like working with Sagittarians because you're always very goal-oriented. The symbol of Sagittarius is the centaur with the bow and arrow, and fires the arrow into the air, always chasing a dream, always seeking adventure. And you are a fiery sign, and it's really good to work with you because you're a dreamer and you love the philosophies of life and you like adventure. And the way that you go about actually having impact in your life and fulfilling your needs for impact, Sagittarius, is through that very goal orientation. You do need to have a goal to work towards in life, a structured plan that you can itemize in certain steps and follow those steps through into the dream that you want to fulfill. Being a fire sign, Sagittarius, you have a lot of enthusiasm for your ideas in life, and you are very agreeable. You're a mutable sign, and you adapt very well to changing circumstances in life. You love travel, and you probably travel widely in life, but travelling in the mind also. So you just love to dream and adventure and go on looking for that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Now, with Sagittarius on the cusp of your first house, the ruler is Jupiter, and that is in a retrograde or apparent backward motion in the early stages of the year, from the beginning of 2014 Sagittarius through until the 7th of March. Now, what you're going to find in this period is that it's just not going to be so easy for you to be able to attain your personal goals, and it's not going to be so easy for you to implement your will and purpose and objective and function and design there in the world. So you're going to have to work that much harder to be able to achieve your goals and to have that elusive impact that you're seeking through that first house. Then after the 7th of March, Sagittarius, things will go a lot more smoothly for you and a lot more potently for you with regard to attaining your personal initiatives and interests and manifesting them into conditions and events in your life. But there is another kick in at the end of the year of the retrograde of your ruler, Jupiter. That goes into retrograde on the 9th of December. So that means that from the 9th of December on through Christmas and into the new year, you're going to find that you'll have a few obstacles to your plans and personal initiatives during that time. So you're going to have to once again rise above those challenges that you're going to be faced with. Now, you've got Capricorn on the cusp of your second house, Sagittarius, and Capricorn is there on the second house of your need for security. So you are trying to fulfill your needs for security, financial security, physical security, emotional security, mental security, and spiritual security in life. And with the powerful sign Capricorn on the cusp there of that second house, it means that you are going to have to follow the law of economy with regard to the handling of money. If you're not careful with money, and if you don't plan and structure and look after your money and budget wisely, then you're going to find the law of economy is going to come down on you very heavily, and you'll experience difficulties and frustrations in life with regard to your finances, and you'll have to then go back to the drawing board and start all over again to start working to plan and structure your intent and purpose and objective and design with regard to manifesting your financial security and also your other forms of security, Sagittarius. Now, Saturn is the ruler of your second house, and it is in an apparent backward motion, or what we call a retrograde motion, Sagittarius, from the 3rd of March to the 21st of July. That's quite an extended period, and that's going to see you having a sense of frustration with regard to the handling of money. You're going to have to work that much harder to budget and stabilise your finances during that time. You'll have to follow the law of economy very carefully in the expenditure of time, energy and money. Now, you are using the second house of your security needs in this incarnation, Sagittarius, in order to develop certain qualities, principles and values within yourself, and to overcome certain liabilities as far as your personality is concerned as well. Those positive traits that you are working on to develop through your finances and through your sense of security in life are unity of purpose, tolerance, humility and open-mindedness. The traits that you've got to work against and be on the guard against through your sense of security in life self-opinionation, judgment of others, narrow-mindedness, pride, and bigotry. Now the third house, Sagittarius, is the house where you are utilising all of the events connected there with the third house of your horoscope in order to develop your communication skills and develop your need for communication and to fulfill your need to communicate with people. And these are with those who are close to you, like relatives and neighbours mainly. And you have the inventive and intuitive sign of Aquarius on the cusp there of your third house. So this means that you are going to be communicating with people. You'll be very effervescent in your communication. So you do enjoy communication. You speak on a scientific level, and you like to express yourself in your conversations and communications in a unique and different way. You like to talk about scientific things, you like to talk about computers, you like to talk about futuristic things and innovative things and inventive things. So you've got a very inventive mind, and you're very, very useful to society in science and research and investigation and so forth of the unusual. So things like astrology and meditation and reincarnation come naturally to you, Sagittarius, with that placement on the cusp there. Now Uranus, Sagittarius, is the ruler of your third house. And Uranus is in an apparent backward motion or a retrograde motion for an extended period in the year. And that is from the 23rd of May to the 22nd of December. So what you're going to find, Sagittarius, is that in your dealings with relatives and neighbours and matters relating to motor vehicles and so forth, and all your opportunities to express yourself and communicate with people are going to be a little bit more difficult. You're going to have a lot of tests to face there, perhaps in handling and controlling your tongue, and being understanding and compassionate, and watching out for being aggressive in speech and things like that. So you'll find that there'll be a few wobbles in the year, in that period, in terms of dealings with relatives and motor vehicles. You're going to have some strange and unexpected experiences to do with motor vehicles, and strange and unexpected experiences cropping up with relatives. Now the fourth house is the house where you are fulfilling your needs to belong to a household, to a family unit, and to those who cohabitate with you in the home. Your needs to belong to that unit. And you've got Pisces on the cusp there. And so you like to live near the water, and you are very adaptable and easily to fit in with the people there in the home, and you love to express your interest in the spiritual side of life too, to those in your family unit. So you talk quite often about spiritual matters and aspirations to become more of who you are, and you love for the divine in whichever way that manifests. As far as your sense of belonging there, you might have had quite a few difficulties in your childhood, because with Pisces on the cusp there, one of your parents might have had some strange circumstances surrounding them, such as alcoholism or drug addiction or some other form of worries about them being hospitalised or something like that during your childhood, or they were just missing, or something there that was very, very disconcerting for you during your childhood, that interfered to a certain degree with your sense of belonging. Now Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, Sagittarius, and Jupiter is in a retrograde motion from the beginning of the year through until the 7th of March. And that means that matters relating to the home, the family, the domestic side of life, and your sense of belonging are going to be a little bit shaky during that period. and you'll have a sense of insecurity surrounding family matters and domestic matters and property matters and matters relating to your sense of belonging there. And then after the 7th of March, Sagittarius, Jupiter starts going direct again, and things are going to go along smoothly for you. But the retrograde motion of Jupiter kicks in again on the 9th of December. And so from the 9th of December onwards through Christmas and into the new year, you'll again have that sense of insecurity to do with family matters and things just not going as smoothly and as harmoniously as you would like them to be. Now your 5th house, Sagittarius, has got the impulsive and energetic sign of Aries on the cusp of it. And that is the house whereby you are fulfilling your needs to love and to have fun. And with Aries on the cusp there, you've jumped into a few hasty relationships early in life and you've got your fingers burnt. You've been involved in all sorts of sporting interests and activities. Probably the more aggressive the better, and the more active the better. It's easy for you to be roped into relationships that are not in your own best interests, that perhaps are a worry for you as time goes on because you've jumped into it impulsively without thinking things through very carefully about the compatibility with that person, Sagittarius. You could end up having an accident whilst playing sport, perhaps earlier in life. And there can be a fair bit of stress and tension in your life focusing through children too, Sagittarius. Now during the whole of the year of 2014, Sagittarius, you have got Uranus stationary there in your 5th house. And Uranus is the planet of innovation and the unexpected and the unusual and innovative. And so you can expect that you'll have some unusual experiences as far as love and relationships if you're in the market for one. You can find that there can be some sort of unusual experience occur with regard to children, and some unusual experiences occur in relationships. And your sense of having fun and being able to express your love can come up against some unusual obstacles throughout the year of 2014. So you'll be madly attracted towards unusual forms of recreation and entertainment and amusements. Anything that's out of the ordinary will naturally appeal to you, Sagittarius, and it looks like being quite an exciting time for you in regard to romance and love 2014 if you're in the market for a relationship. Now Mars is the ruler of your 5th house, Sagittarius, and it is in an apparent backward motion from the 2nd of March to the 20th of May. So what you're going to experience, Sagittarius, is that relationships and love and romance and the social side of life and all matters relating to children and so forth, and your sense of having fun and loving and expressing your love is not going to go as smoothly as what you would like it to during that time. There'll be a few secret worries about relationships, a few secret worries about children, and some strange circumstances are no doubt likely to crop up during that specific time. The Uranus placed there in that house all the year. Now the 6th house, Sagittarius, is where you are fulfilling your service needs, and you've got Taurus on the cusp there. And so you fulfill your service needs through the job, and you like stability in the job. You possibly work with women's fashions, clothing, jewellery, cosmetics or artistic things, or if you're of the male sex, then you can work with practical things of the earth, with timber and things of the earth, minerals and things like that. And you have a lot of social activities revolving around the people that you work with because it's Venus ruled Taurus. So that's going to see you perhaps having a romantic involvement with somebody that you work with at some time in your life, Sagittarius. So in that respect, Sagittarius, it can bring in service in a different form. Service in the job means to have a lot of social activities with people that you work with. Now the 7th house, Sagittarius, is where you are fulfilling your needs to have a mate and to have somebody who you can get to know and be intimate with and to be known in return. And you've got the flighty sign Gemini on the cusp there of your 7th house. So there's more than one mate in life for you, perhaps even two going at the one time. There's a lot of changing circumstances and conditions in your life, Sagittarius, in regard to relationships. You could have a relationship with a person who is a twin. You could have a relationship with somebody that you meet in your neighbourhood or that you meet through a relative. There'll be a lot of changeable circumstances in your life in regard to relationships, Sagittarius, that you can be assured of, and a lot of experience in life, but also a lot of love. So you'll be your love nature through the relationships that you form in life and having a damn good time getting to know them all. The 8th house, Sagittarius, is where you are fulfilling your needs for change. We're all in a spiritual classroom and we're all fulfilling these needs in this spiritual classroom that we call Earth, in this space-time rule set that we call Earth. And these needs are, as far as the 8th house is concerned, is the need for change. And we do this through introspection and reflection. And you've got the sign Cancer on the cusp there. So that's going to bring in the imagination to a large degree, and it'll bring in the family side of things too, to a large degree, into your changing processes. And so there'll be perhaps a few conflicts, and you'll have a few conflicts with those in the home environment who share the home with you, and those in your family and extended family. And it's through the resolution of those conflicts that you have inside of yourself and with those in your family unit that you bring about change, through courageously admitting to your manipulations and your dominations and controls and things like that, by courageously embracing change. Now you've got a wonderful thing happening throughout the whole of 2014 as far as your 8th house is concerned, Sagittarius, and that is you've got Jupiter moving in transit through your 8th house. Now what's that going to mean? Well, first of all, it's going to be a boost for joint finances for you and your spouse or partner. There's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity to improve yourselves financially as a group, as a team. And there's going to be a tremendous urge within yourself to delve into the mysteries of life, life after death. The 8th house is the house of death, death of aspects of ourselves that we feel as if we've outgrown, but also death of the physical body. And so you are going to want to research and study and investigate life after death and what death means, and you'll realign and reappraise your understanding of what death is all about in this year of 2014. So it promises to be quite a mysterious year, with you delving into a lot of mysteries all surrounding death. Money could come to you from a deceased estate with Jupiter in the 8th house for the whole of the year as well. Now the 9th house is going to have a very strong affiliation with you, Sagittarius, because your sign is the 9th sign. And the 9th house is the house where you are expressing and developing your needs to have adventure and to expand and to grow and reach and stretch and become more of who you really are. And you do that through travel, and we do that through religious and spiritual and philosophical research and investigation, and we do that through expansion of ourselves in a variety of other ways, in the dream experiences and so forth as well. So the 9th house having Leo on the cusp of it, it's a fiery sign, And so you can expect a lot of social involvements with people who are born overseas. And you'll probably want to travel overseas as a form of recreation and entertainments and amusements. And you'll have a lot of involvements with relatives on your spouse's side or partner's side, in-laws. And you'll have a really scientific approach to being able to investigate all the mysteries of life, Sagittarius. Now the 10th house is the house where we are achieving the needs to have high esteem in the community and to reach and stretch to become more of who we really are and to attain to our high goals in life. And we do this through career and business, as distinct from the 6th house of the job. And you've got Virgo on the cusp of your 10th house. Now with Virgo on the cusp of your 10th house, you have it all connected with your job. Your high ambitions in life are through your work and your service activities in a large way. You're very adaptable and changeable, so you can have a lot of variety and experience in regard to business and career. You could work with food in the business or career side of things, or with clothing, or with small animals or domestic pets. You could work in the clerical side of things. You're very observant and analytical with regard to your observations in regard to the career and to do with business activities. But there's a lot of wide variety of experiences for you in regard to career and business, and probably many changes in direction as far as that's concerned as well. Now you are in the process, Sagittarius, of developing certain qualities and principles and values within yourself through the 10th house in 2014. And some of these are strength, self-sacrifice, truth, purity, tolerance, serenity, balance, and common sense. You are also working to overcome certain negative traits that can come into your life through this particular house of your horoscope. And some of these vices are jealousy, selfishness, partiality, self-deception, prejudice, and anger. Now the 11th house is where you are fulfilling your needs for group activities and friendships, Sagittarius. And with the affable sign Libra on the cusp there, you certainly enjoy a lot of social activities of a group nature. So you belong to a variety of clubs, perhaps clubs connected with music and dancing and things like that, and artistic things, as Venus ruled the sign Libra on the cusp there of your 11th house. And so you will have friends who are very loving in their nature and musically inclined, and you'll probably be involved with your mate or your partner or your spouse in all of these group activities. And you probably would meet your spouse in the first place through this type of group activities and club activities in your life. So there'll be a lot of social activities as well involving other partners and other friends who with their spouse and their children mixed with your children and so forth. So there's a whole lot of group interests there revolving around other people's children as well. Now through this group activity, Sagittarius, you are in the process of developing certain strengths and qualities and principles and values within yourself. And one of these is concentration upon deep subjects. Also patience and caution. Some of the vices that you could be amenable to and susceptible to through these group activities that you're working on, these group activities to diminish in your life, are coldness, isolation, absent-mindedness, obstinacy, or stubbornness, and a sense of criticism of others. Now the 12th house of your horoscope, Sagittarius, has the exciting sign of Scorpio on the cusp of it, the mysterious sign Scorpio on the cusp of it. And this is where you are fulfilling your needs for solitude. And so you will get involved in a lot of activities that have a sexual connotation. There will be secret romantic involvements and sexual liaisons and things like that perhaps, and all sorts of things within yourself that you regard as your liabilities, that you are working on to develop and master and control. Masks that you want to give up, masks that you sometimes put on to see if they still fit. But with Scorpio on the cusp of your 12th house, Sagittarius, you've got a tremendous urge to delve into the mysteries of life through that solitude. You need that solitude. You need those quiet times by yourself to be able to think and reflect upon things and to be able to aspire towards the divine. Now, unfortunately, Sagittarius, you've got Saturn stationary there all through the year of 2014 in your 12th house. And so therefore it's not going to be easy to overcome these difficulties within yourself and these liabilities within yourself. It's not going to be easy for you to attain that solitude. There'll perhaps be obligations and responsibilities as far as the career is concerned and your business activities are concerned. And there can be depressions that can creep in, and worries about parents and things like that, worries about the career, worries about your ambitions can come in when you've got Saturn there in the 12th house of your horoscope. Could be the hospitalisation of a parent and worries about business and things like that. So all of these things are threatening your fulfillment of your needs to have solitude in your life and to aspire towards the divine through that solitude. So all in all, Sagittarius, it's a bumper year for you in terms of inner growth and change within yourself. With Jupiter there in your 8th house, you've got money coming from an unexpected source, perhaps a deceased estate. You've got money coming in joint finances that you share with your spouse or partner. And you've got a tremendous opportunity for change within yourself through introspection and reflection. So you are going to delve into a lot of the mysteries of life, and it's incumbent upon you with Jupiter in the 8th house to get stuck into my intensives from here on and manifest that goal for change within yourself through those intensives. Well, now that you've been exposed to what I've told you about the events and conditions that you'll be experiencing in 2014, where do you go from here? Well, it's very, very important for you to understand that just because you don't have all the answers, it doesn't mean that other people don't. And so I've written 2 books. What Really Matters is a book about astrology, meditation and reincarnation. And I've taken all of that material out of that book and put it into 12 CDs. And I'm happy to send you those 12 CDs free of charge. So what you do from here on is subscribe to my website, subscribe to my videos through YouTube, so that every new video that I bring out will be sent to you. And I'll be doing 100 videos or so in 2014 for your benefit on all aspects of spiritual growth to help you become more of the giant that you truly are. My other book is called Coming Home: An Eternal Journey, and that one goes into things a lot more deeply about the larger plan and quantum physics and the holographic nature of reality and all sorts of other stuff that we won't bother with here. So what I want to help you to do is to be more successful in your life, to be able to consciously create the events and conditions in your life. You have that power. Make no mistake about it. You have that power inside of yourself to create all of the events and conditions in your life by conscious choice instead of subconscious choice as you're doing now. So submit your birth details, even if you've watched videos of mine in the past. Submit your birth details so that I can send you your chart together with those 12 CDs out of my first book on astrology, meditation and reincarnation. And also I'll send you other stuff too, all the links to all of my videos and everything. So this is all free of charge to help you become more of who you really are. But you then have the option of taking horoscope number 2. Horoscope number 2, look, what I'm telling you here in this particular reading that you've just been watching is I'm only telling you a very small amount of the things to do with your ascendant and the signs on the cusp of each of your 12 houses and the movements of the planets through your houses in 2014. But there's so much more there that's in your individual horoscope that I can't touch on, because I don't have your personal horoscope. There won't be another person born with the same horoscope as you for another 25,000 years. So you've got the moon is in a certain house and a certain sign and forming certain aspects with other planets in your horoscope. And that means something to you. You've got Mercury, which is your communication skills and your mentality. And that's in somewhere in one of those 12 houses. And that's in aspect with other planets and so forth. And that has meaning. You've got Venus, which is your love nature, and that is sitting somewhere in one of the houses of your horoscope. And Mars is sitting in one of the houses of your horoscope. All of these things have meaning. They have aspects with each other, with other planets and so forth. So this all has meaning. Jupiter is a major beneficial influence in your life. Where have you got Jupiter sitting in your horoscope, which is the main area that you can find happiness and joy and wonder and expansion in your life? Saturn is sitting somewhere in your horoscope, so there's a lot of tests there involved with Saturn. And Uranus and Neptune, all these planets have impact, and they're all sitting in different houses of your horoscope, and they're all forming aspects and relationships with each other that make you unique and different from everybody else. So I want to interpret your horoscope for you. So in horoscope number 2, I'll do that for you. It's a 20-page printout on you and you alone. And all to do with your personal planets and your houses and signs and aspect and so forth. And then to have horoscope number 3 is my voice with beautiful relaxing backing music to tell you all about the intimate side of your life and where your tests lie and what's going on in the immediate past, so you can say, yes, he knows what he's talking about. And then I'll go into the immediate future, 5 years or so for you, and tell you what's coming up. This helps you to have a map to know where you're going in life. So I thank you for your attentiveness here and look forward to working further with you should you get involved in my intensives and should you have your horoscope done by me. Thank you.